Alright, learners, welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm looking at events after World War One, precisely the League of Nations. The League of Nations. So a question may be asked: what about League of Nations? So you must understand that after World War One, which took place between 1914 to 1918, there was a need for an international organization that would look into many issues that affected a lot of countries here in the world. So what about it? It was an international organization, as earlier alluded to, that was established after World War One to look into many matters. 1914 to 1918, that is when the World War One took place. When did it become fully operational? So it became fully operational on the 10th of January 1920. 10th January 1920. Who is believed to have been the architect or the brainchild of this wonderful organization at the time? President Woodrow Wilson of America. President Woodrow Wilson of America is believed to have been the man behind the brains of League of Nations. When was the idea of League of Nations first presented? You may realize that when there was the Paris Peace Conference or the Versailles Peace Conference in 1919, Woodrow Wilson, President of America, was representing America at the table of discussions, presented his 14 points. 14 points of how he perceived the world would live in harmony once again. One of the 14 points that were presented by Woodrow Wilson was the fact that League of Nations was important, or there was supposed to be an international organization that would look into a lot of issues and prevent the outbreak of Second World War. So the aims of this international organization, one of the aims which was very critical was that the League of Nations was tasked to prevent the outbreak of Second World War. It was a tragic moment in world history when a lot of wrong things, millions of people died, a lot of people were displaced, economies of nations were on their knees. So how do we prevent the outbreak of the Second World War? The League of Nations had that task. Also, to settle international disputes, nations had a lot of conflicts among themselves. So who is going to hear each nation or the complaints that would come from those nations? The League of Nations had that mandate to do. To promote international cooperation among member states, especially in issues of social and economic interest. The world desire to have social and economic well-being that every nation or people living in any part of the world can embrace. So it was important that member states cooperate on issues of social and economic matters. Besides that, to maintain peace and security, obviously, if peace and security is absent in the world, what you have is the outbreak of the Second World War. So they needed to maintain peace and security. Besides that, League of Nations needed to promote disarmament or reduction of weapons among member states. You realize that one of the causes of World War I was arms race, or the competition of weapons. Who has what, especially between Germans and the British. So there was a need to reduce how much weapons can a nation have, and that was in the mandate of the League of Nations. Another one is to promote human rights among member states. You do realize that each person is born with the particular human rights that are fundamental to their existence. If these human rights are abrogated, then you expect problems. So it was the mandate of the League of Nations to ensure that human rights are preserved. Also, to work together in reducing drug trafficking. One of the problems of terrorism, one of the problems of violence, one of the problems of criminal cases in the world is due to the abuse of drugs in many countries. Hence, the need for League of Nations to look into those issues. Also, to help settle the problem of refugees. You can imagine a lot of people had escaped their countries just to get a comfortable life. They left their territories, they left their mother countries and escaped elsewhere. But how do we take care of those people? Hence the need to look into the issues of refugee, which became the mandate of the League of Nations. Also, to mention, last but not the least, is to protect member states from any aggression. So for any country who may be aggrieved or who may be attacked, the League of Nations had the mandate to protect each one. Now, allow me to move to the organization structure of the League of Nations. So the League of Nations had this 5 organ structure. So you can see from here the 5 organs. So we have got 1 here, we have got 2, we have got 3, we have got 4, and we have got 5. This is what we say it was a 5 organ structure. So one of the organs, one of the organs in the structure of the League of Nations was the League Assembly. So the League Assembly acted as a world parliament where each member which belonged to the League of Nations met at least once a year to discuss issues of international concern. Then we have got what we call the League Council. So the League Council, we can call it World Police. This organ was there to enforce force. You know that in Zambia, or indeed in many parts of the world, we have got the police, or indeed those people that are given the mandate to make sure that they apply force to anyone who could be in the wrong. So the League Council worked to ensure that they gave force to anyone who needed to appear before the League of Nations. Then you have got the Secretariat. So the Secretariat was like a civil service. This is an organ of the League of Nations that worked on day to day to ensure that the main operations of the League of Nations are running smoothly. The Secretariat set the agenda of the meeting and took care of the records and so many forth. In another video, I may just post the functions of each organ. Then you have got the 4th one, which is the International Court of Justice, ICJ. This we can call it International Court. So if any country, any member state who belongs to the League of Nations had any concern about issues, international disputes, this is where they could come and appeal or indeed complain to, or this is the organ that could even sentence those that were made to be offenders. And then we have got the International Labour Organization. International Labour Organization was an organ of the League of Nations that existed to ensure that working conditions of people, the welfare of people, you can talk about the issues of child abuse, you can talk about the issues of human rights, and all these issues that affected issues of labor, working conditions of people were addressed. Then you can see just below this structure, we have got special departments or commissions. So the League of Nations also had special commissions department. Now you can see this line is coming down from the Secretariat, meaning all these commissions were supervised by the Secretariat day to day. So among the commissions or departments that we have under the League of Nations is the Mandate Commission. The Mandate Commission, its job was to ensure that those territories or those places, those countries that had not yet attained the status of independence, it was important that the League of Nations helped them to attain the status of independence. So there were those countries that were placed under the mandate status, countries that were weak to become fully independent. So the League of Nations had to make sure that they helped them become fully independent. Then you've got the World Health Organization. This was a commission that was to ensure into matters of health. As you know, that it was very much important that the world is in attains health status. Then drug trafficking, like I said, issues of drug trafficking, there was a commission for that. Refugees, how do we settle the refugees, people that have been displaced. There was a commission for that, slavery commission. By 1920, there were still some countries that were still practicing slavery. So there was need to ensure that all countries come to the understanding that slavery was a practice of the past. And Minorities Commission. Obviously, the Minorities Commission, this was a commission that was established to ensure that those smaller groups of people that could be existing in particular countries, they are protected. You can imagine if it's in Zambia today, assuming that the Bisa are a special group found in Zambia, then you are trying to take advantage of the fact that the Bisa are not supposed to belong here, or they are a smaller group, they are a small identity group. How do you protect that smaller group? So there are a lot of minorities. Even the Jews, for example, the Jews found themselves in many parts of Europe, like Germany, Austria, and other places. It was important that the League of Nations take keen interest in protecting the rights and privileges of those minorities. So this marks the end of this session. Until next time, this has been Teacher Monia. Please, at your own time, go through these notes using your content book or indeed pamphlets. Tune in to this. If you haven't subscribed, you can make sure that you subscribe to enjoy more of this content. Bye.